Hello, everyone. This is Brian. This is Night Reads. My name is Brian, and I've already messed up once. Okay, um, but this is a live broadcast for reading selections of people's fictional works. I'm hoping to do this as a weekly or semi weekly event, and these will be uploaded to YouTube. This might be the first one that's uploaded to YouTube. Hopefully, I don't mess up too badly, although I've already messed up, but we'll see how it goes. Um, and for all you Deadpool fans, this is my favorite Deadpool hat, so I have that as my lucky charm tonight. Tonight, I will be reading a short story that I have up on Wattpad called Box of Crayons. It is an adult kind of thriller murder mystery story, so hopefully you guys enjoy. Um, if you are an author and you're interested in participating in this, submissions are now open. So you can go to my website. It is www.brian, Brian dash Basham, BASHAM.com. And the latest blog post that I posted has the submission guidelines and where to submit those. So if you're interested, that's where to go. That's where to put your stuff up. Like I said, this story is called Box of Crayons. I know it seems like a kind of childish title, but believe me, it's a fun story. It's one that I posted on Wattpad a while ago as part of a contest on there, and uh, this was the winning submission in that contest. So the person who was running the contest liked it, and hopefully you will too. The first chapter is called Walk In, and here we go. I hate paperwork. Being the detective on duty late night on a Wednesday in Lorrington is boring to say the least. I'm just glad that they rotate the shift between the other detectives. However, this week the shift is all mine. At least I can catch up on this paperwork that I love so much. My phone rings. What could it possibly be? I check my watch. It's 3:30 a.m. I hope this won't require me to go out. It's freezing out there. Pick up my phone. Detective Ramos. Homicide. Flip the page. Dispatch responds. We have a white male, late 20s or early 30s, saying that they have urgent information on the candle wax killer. Ooh. Great, another nut job. This happens all the time when we have an unsolved murder that gets a lot of press. It's not my case, but there's no one else here. Set him up in the interview room number 2. Get me a uni in to observe too, and not that Jenkins kid this time. I'll take his statement and pass it on. I go to the interview into conference room A, where they have set up the serial killer investigation. Brooks got the initial case, so he's the lead. Everyone is chipping in with the groundwork. I have chased several leads on this case that have turned out to be nothing. I pick up the summary folder. All the recent developments are inside. I doubt I will have anything to add. I take the file with me, reading as I walk. At the interview room, Officer Tanley is setting up. Good morning, officer. How are things looking? He plugs in the camera. Exciting, sir. This guy wants to confess. I shake my head. These kids in uniform think That makes this easier. This guy might be even crazier than I thought. We'll see in a moment, officer. You get any coffee? With his eye in the camera, he says, I'm brewing a new pot. I can bring you a cup once it's ready. I look at the guy in the other room, a scared kid wearing a gray hoodie and a black t-shirt. I would bet jeans too, but I can't see with him sitting behind the table. Dark circles under his eyes and the short stubble on his chin suggests he hasn't been sleeping much lately. He fidgets with something in his pocket. Did you frisk him? Tanley looks at me. Do you need me to? He went through the metal detector. He just had a couple of rings, a set of keys, a box of crayons, and pocket lint. That's probably what he's playing with. I reply, no, it's okay. Mind the camera. If things go south, I may need you in there. I'll use the safe word Omaha. I'm going in. Little Peyton Manning there. Don't remember writing that. I open the door. I hope this guy doesn't attack me like the last nut job that came in here. Chapter 2, titled Red. I open the door to see that the kid is wearing jeans. Surprise, surprise. Hello, my name is Detective Ramos. Before we get started, I must inform you that we will be recording this conversation. I am of the understanding that you came here to confess a crime, correct? The young man nods. Yes. I continue. And you have agreed to give up your right to have legal representation present? He nods again. Yeah. I sit down across from him. Okay, first things first. Please state your full name for the record. Percival Andon Miller. And your address? 7426 Camden Way, Lawrington, Ohio. And what name do you prefer to be called? Andy. All my friends call me Andy. Okay, Andy. What crime are you trying to confess to? He looks at me, straight in the eyes, with a vein popping out of his forehead. Murder. I know I killed these women. You have to arrest me. I don't want to do it again, but I can't stop him. I attempt to calm him down. It's okay. I'm here to help. Take some deep breaths. Why don't we start from the beginning? Tell me how it all started. He looks down at his belly, still fidgeting with whatever is in his pockets. Mandy Jones was the first. She had long, wavy red hair. It was the color of fire. I could almost believe that I would get burnt if I touched it. You see? It's the color that draws me in. It calls to me. I must possess it. In high school, I sat behind her in algebra. The long curls were long enough to brush the edge of my desk. I had fantasies that her hair would set my book, homework, and tests on fire whenever they touched. Eventually, I had to touch it myself. It was soft and light, not what I was expecting, but wonderful in its own way. It had become an obsession. I had to touch it. She was out sick one day, and I got into a fight. I don't remember what happened, but I do remember being suspended from school for a few days and the bruises that were on my knuckles. The last week of classes that year, I brought scissors with me to algebra. I just wanted one hair. She wouldn't have missed it. I accidentally cut 3 without anyone noticing and acted like I was picking it off of the back of her shirt. She gave me a strange look, but turned back around. But then, 3 hairs didn't seem like enough. I needed more. The last day of class, I grabbed a fistful and cut. She screamed while trying to pull away, but the hair held her in place. I managed to cut half of what I held before Mr. Kavlov was able to stop me. They didn't let me keep the hair. I only kept the 3 strands I initially cut and a few others that fell out naturally. My mother decided I would be homeschooled after that. I remember the angry look from Mandy as I was held to the ground, unable to move. Some of her hair long and mesmerizing, and some of it short and frayed. She was led out of the room by another teacher, and that was the last time I saw them. I flip a page in my notepad. Let's take a break for a minute. Do you want any coffee, water, or soda? No, I'm okay. Well, I need a refresher. I'll be back in a minute. Flippy page. I go to the observation room to find a fresh cup of steamy hot coffee waiting for me. Officer Tanley might be my new favorite uni. Track down Mandy Jones and check out the kid's story. See if she's gone missing. Her name isn't in the summary file as a victim. If you pull his age off the check-in report, it should be easy to figure out when he was in high school. Got it? Officer nods. Got it. Did you want me to call Detective Brooks? Unless we're sure this guy is telling the truth, there's no need to wake him yet. We don't have any evidence. Anyone can come in here saying they have information. What is he doing? And Tanley looks up. He's playing with a crayon. He's infatuated with a red crayon. He's focused on the red wax stick as if it is a holy artifact. I take a sip of my coffee. Maybe Tanley isn't my favorite uni after all. This coffee is terrible. I take another drink. Strong though, and that's what I need right now. I'm going back in. Give me just a second. My throat's a little, might be coming down with a cold or something. Hopefully not, though. Okay, Chapter 3, Brown. As I re-enter, Andy drops the box in his lap while trying to put the red crayon back in. He grabs the box again. This time he holds the box in front of his face as he slides the red crayon back in place. What's with the crayons? He puts the box back in the left pocket of his hoodie. It's nothing. I let it go for now while sitting on the other side of the table. Are you ready to start again? I guess so. We'll go on. What happened after the haircutting incident? He leans forward, looking me in the eyes, as if someone else might overhear him. He whispers, "Then I killed someone." He leans back, looking back down at his lap. "Who? How did it happen?" He says, "Karina Maxwell. I was in college at State at the time. I met her in a coffee shop just off campus. She was 3 spots ahead of me in line. The chocolate-colored hair was down to the middle of her back. It was like her hair was paused in time just for me. It was perfect and straight. Then she moved up in line, and I realized it wasn't mine. A deep craving within my soul pulled me forward, but I dared not get too close. A few weeks passed before I get the courage to introduce myself. She was upset one day, and I tried to comfort her. I didn't like the disheveled look of her hair. I wanted to fix it, but I was too scared to touch. I thought that maybe it would pull me in and drown me. I wanted her to fix it since I couldn't. I asked her if she had a hairbrush. She then went to the bathroom to fix herself up. When she came back, I tried to describe how beautiful she was to me, but really I was talking about her hair. She had just broken up with her boyfriend and didn't want to be alone. She invited me to her apartment. When we get inside, she pressed herself against me while crying. The only thing I could think of was the soft whisper touching my cheek. She pulled away for a moment and pressed her warm lips on mine, her tongue exploring my mouth. She had her eyes closed, but mine were open. My hand crept up her back until it reached her bra strap. I was afraid to reach higher, but then she shifted her mouth and her hair brushed against my hand. Then the young man starts to fidget with something in his hand. He continues. I don't remember when the kiss ended, but I didn't want to take my hand out of her hair. She pulled away from me, but she grabbed my hand, pulling me towards another room. After a couple of steps, I realized that I had an erection. At the time, I wasn't sure if it was the kiss or her hair that caused it, but I know now. We went to her bedroom. It's okay, son. I can understand not wanting to kiss and tell. Does anything happen in the bedroom that I should know about? Anything violent? He nods with tears falling down his cheeks. After she got up from her knees, I saw a pair of scissors on her bedstand. I grabbed them. She screamed when she saw. She fought me, but I did manage to get some of her hair. She kicked me in between my legs and pushed me out of her apartment. While I pulled up my pants, she opened the door one last time and threw one of my shoes at me. And that was the last time I saw them. I nod. Okay. How did she die? How did you kill her? He gives me a confused look. I killed her. When I woke up the next day, I had more of her hair than I had left her apartment with. I would recognize her hair anywhere. I wouldn't have left it on the counter like he did, though. I had a much better place to put it in. I heard about her death on the news later that day. He fidgets with something in his hand again. What is it that you have in your hand? Alarmed, he starts putting it away. Nothing. I half stand up to see him slide the last bit of a brown crayon back into the box. Chapter 4. Yellow. I ask, who is he? Andy replies, What do you mean? You said that you wouldn't have left the hair on the counter like he did. Who is he? He looks around like he doesn't remember where he is. Then, like a switch being flipped again, the recognition comes back to his face. Percy, me, I did it. He might be crazier than a loon, but he's hiding something. I'm not going to find out what it is. I'm going to find out what it is. Even with a confession, we might not be able to get a conviction on this guy. Neither of the girls he has mentioned are listed in the summary file. There doesn't seem to be any connection between the killer and this guy. I have a feeling that you are wasting my time, Andy. You're not giving me any details of the crime. From your story so far, all I'm getting is that you are a stalker with a hair fetish. We could hold you for assault if one of the women pressed charges, but that's about it. The surprised look on his face is priceless. I'm about to leave the room and have him released when he says, I have evidence. You have to keep me locked up. I don't want to hurt anyone else. Well, where is it? He places 2 rings on the table. I use the end of my pen to slide them towards me. Both are made of plastic. One has a flat round surface with an embossed P surrounded by an embossed circle. The other has the face of a lion. I flip through the summary file to find a victim photo. The killer closed his victim's eyes, poured hot wax over their eyes, and then used something to press a design into the wax. The designs and the pictures match the rings in front of me. I collect the rings into evidence bags, careful not to touch them. The shaved heads of the girls and the wax over the eyes are common knowledge from the newspapers, but the designs aren't. I'll be right back, Andy. Sit tight. Locking the door behind me, I leave the interview room. In the observation room, Officer Tanley is typing at a laptop. I ask, did you find anything? Yes, I found Mandy Jones. She's living in Los Angeles now, safe and unscarred. I can't find anything on the incident, though. I'm just starting to look for Karina Maxwell. Nothing so far. Okay, keep looking. Go ahead and give Detective Brooks a call, too. The design on the rings match the marks the killer leaves in the wax. Could you get another uni here to add these to evidence? Place the evidence bag next to Tanley's laptop. He responds, on it. Flippy the page. I have to come up with a better system for this. Something to improve on for next time. Okay. Going back in, time to wrap a bow on this thing. Switching rooms, I once again plopped down in the chair across from Andy. So, where were we? I was about to tell you about the blonde. The blonde? No name? No, I don't have a name. I think she gave Candy as her name, but I never believed that was her real name. I was out with a friend celebrating his promotion. I don't normally go to bars, but he wanted to drink. He was flirting with a girl he saw across the bar, leaving me with my Coke. He came back saying that he was leaving with the girl in a cab. He wanted me to come to the party they were going to, but I was feeling a bit tired. I'm not much of a party person anyway. I almost finished my Coke when I saw her across the bar. I noticed her bright blonde curls immediately. They shone like the sun, brilliant yellow that seemed to lift the darkness around it. She came over, and I was disappointed to find that she used extensions of fake hair. I told her that her natural hair was too pure to ruin with extensions. She admitted that she hated them herself, but it was an occupational hazard. That's when I found out that she was a hooker. He starts fidgeting with something again. I'm betting he's pulling out a yellow crayon at this point. We went to a local motel where they seemed to know her. The manager said that I had a wild one and to watch myself. I was more interested in her hair than any physical activity. After the last incident, I decided to carry scissors with me wherever I went. I handed the motel key to Candy and let her lead me towards the room. When she slid the key in, I grabbed a handful of her hair to cut. The bitch tried to headbutt me. My scissors dug into her scalp, threatening to turn her golden treasure red. I saved as much of her hair as I could before she broke free. She tried to spray me with mace, but I ran away. I looked over my shoulder. She was stomping her feet in anger, and that was the last time I saw them. This is the first hit with the summary file. Linda Phillips, blonde, 32, and her occupation is the oldest one there is. She even goes by the name Candy, and had a healing wound on the back of her head similar to what he described. So you killed her? You never give details of the murder. Tell me what happened. He says, I don't remember. I woke up the next day with 2 samples of her hair. One I had cut out all the extensions. It was clean, pristine, and pure. The other sample had dirt and blood in it, along with those nasty extensions. I couldn't leave her hair like that. I don't care about her stupid hair. How did she die? You know, don't you? He starts crying. I don't remember. Chapter 5. Black. He looks down at his lap, crying. He places the box of crayons on top of the desk. The yellow crayon is broken in half. He tries to hide it with his hand, but it's obvious from the way he tries to slide it back in. I let him sit in silence until he gets the crayon in the box. It seems to calm him. I'm sorry, Andy. It's frustrating for me not to know how these women died. I'm going to make a statement for you to sign, and the statement needs to be as detailed as possible. He sniffles. I'm trying. I black out and I don't know what's going on sometimes. I know that I killed these girls and I don't want to hurt anyone else. I respond, I promise you I won't let you hurt anyone else. This seems to calm him a bit more. Do you want to continue? He nods. Yeah, I have to. I don't know how much time I have. What do you mean? Are you dying? Yeah, I can call an ambulance. He shakes his head. No. Let's just keep going. I'll be okay. I ask, okay, who's next? And he says, Desiree Azuma. I met her at the park. I was reading a book. I can't remember which one. I read a lot. She was jogging around the walking path. Her hair was tied back in a ponytail, so I didn't pay her much attention at first. I got lost in my book for a while. When I looked up, I noticed her hair. She was stretching her legs out near the bench I was sitting. Her hair bounced around as if asking me if I wanted to play. I did. The light danced over it as well. I had never seen hair like it. I felt the compulsion to touch it. I wanted it to bounce around in my hands. I followed her home and waited. He starts messing with his crayons again. He continues. She came out again wearing a short black dress, but more importantly, her hair was down. It was free to dance around her head. Its full glory is difficult to put in words. I followed her to a bar where she met her friends. My hands began to twitch as I watched her. I almost spilled my Coke when I picked it up. Her and her friends went to the dance floor. I couldn't wait any longer. I followed them and drew out my scissors. She didn't even hear the cutting when it began. Her hair was thicker and heavier than I thought it would be. One of her friends started pointing at her. I took that as my cue to leave. I looked back when she started screaming, and that was the last time I saw them. Another name matches in the summary file. This time a full name. I'm getting angry at this last time I saw them crap. He hasn't admitted to any details of the crime. I need him to. That was not the last time you saw her. I pull a crime scene photo out of the summary file. That is how you left her. He looks away with his face contorting in grief. I don't remember that. I yell. You killed her, didn't you? How? You remember. You just don't want to tell me. Tears streaming down his face again. He says, I don't. I try to, but I don't. His expression changes to one of fear. He's coming. I respond, who is coming? What are you talking about? He looks at me. He's coming. I don't have much time. He puts the box of crayons on the desk and slides the black crayon back into the box. Take this. It's evidence. Quickly. I grab an evidence bag and place the open mouth over the box of crayons. What is this evidence of? Assault on a coloring book? I take care with flipping the box so I can seal the evidence bag. He stands up, looks around and says, he's almost here. Hide the box, quick. I stuff the sealed bag into my jacket pocket. I killed those women. Put me in handcuffs now. He puts both of his hands out, shaking them to emphasize urgency. don't want this to be the last time I see you cough. Cough. His face changes from desperation to anger as I put the handcuffs on. He stares at his wrists for a minute in silence. Are you okay? You ready to continue? He pushes his shoulders back and sits with a businesslike nature. I want my lawyer. My eyebrows climb up my forehead. You came here to confess. He places his hands on the table and leans forward. I want my lawyer and my phone call if you are arresting me. That is all you are going to get me to confess to. I pull out the card and read him his Miranda rights. I finish with, do you understand these rights as I have read them to you? He replies, yes, I want my lawyer and my phone call. I have no idea what the hell just happened, but rules are rules. I hope Detective Brooks is here to take over this mess. Chapter 6. Exhale. I'm still trying to figure out what happened as I sit behind my desk typing up my notes for the summary report. Thank God Detective Brooks is here. With the rings as evidence, we should be able to put this kid away. There are still some doubts, but this is Brooks' case to argue. The video confession will help, but it doesn't look like we will get a signed statement. The signed statement would make it airtight. In the video, the lawyers will be able to show that he didn't actually confess to anything. Detective Brooks comes over to my desk with a coffee mug in hand and says, why did you have me get up at 5:30 a.m.? I reply, your case, buddy. No chance I was going to steal your thunder. He responds, we had to let the little snot go. He's such an arrogant prick. Do you know what he said to me? What? We have the rings as evidence. That alone should be enough. Circumstantial. The lawyer had 2 of his own. He said that the kid worked over the summer at an amusement park in Hanford. Apparently they sell them there. Also, there wasn't any trace of wax on them. Well, what about the confession? I already know the answer to that. You tried your best, but the kid didn't sign a statement and doesn't really confess to anything other than assault. He says he killed them, but he doesn't give any evidence and doesn't remember any details. That combined with the alibi his lawyer helped confirm means we have to let him go. The kid's father is some kind of mogul, too. Talk about money. Well, that sucks. I'll get this report typed up for you to file in the completely useless portion of the case files. He replies, unfortunately, I was hoping you had something solid for me. I'm going to head back home and hopefully get another 5 minutes of sleep. Good luck with that. I go back to typing up my report. I need my notepad. I reach behind me to pull it out of the pocket of my jacket, and my fingers brush against plastic. Wait, I pull out my notepad. I put my notepad in my other pocket. But what is this plastic? I fish it out of my pocket. It's that stupid box of crayons. I almost forgot about it with everything else going on. Half of the broken yellow crayon is hanging down outside of the box. Then I see something coming off the crayon, catching the light. What is that? Holding it up to the light, it looks like hair. The crayon has blonde hair wrapped around. I will put money on this. I will put money on it that this hair belongs to Linda Phillips. Still, it only verifies the information we have in confession. I rotate the bag looking for something else. The crayons start to slide. I see something on the edge of the paper around each crayon. That isn't the usual glue used on crayons. It looks like wax. Maybe candle wax. I tip the box back to prevent the crayons from falling out. Screw it. I dump all the crayons out of the box. The plastic bag keeps them from falling all over the floor. The bottom of the box has a white cloth stained red. That looks like blood to me. I run to the front desk. Officer Tanley is talking to Officer Page. I ask, "Did Detective Brooks come through here?" Tanley responds, "Yeah, you just missed him." I have one more question. Do you have the preliminary report with Andy Miller's address? You mean Percy? I was just talking about him. I still have it. I'm going to go arrest him again. I found blood in that box of crayons. Chapter 7. Arrest. Park across the street from the address we were given. This isn't what I expected. A single-level home in the suburbs. I thought his family had money. I walk up the driveway to the house. All the lights are off. I don't think anyone's home. This might not even be his home. I check the mailbox to find a note there. It says Detective Ramos on the outside. I open it. It reads, "Detective, if you are here, then Percy's lawyer was able to set us free. I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier, but it's hard for me to accept. I have schizophrenia. I recently became aware of Percy. He's in control sometimes, and recently has become more aggressive. He forces me out. He's dangerous. He's the one that killed those girls. Please stop him. There's a key under one of the flat rocks to your left. Andy." Thanks, Andy. I pocket the letter. It's my probable cause. I find the key and try to open the door without making too much noise. The click of the door opening makes me wince. I draw my gun just in case. But the lack of noise and activity makes me think there is no one home. The door opens into a living room. Nothing unusual in there. To the left is the dining room. There's a box of crayons, candles, and hair laid out on the table. The kitchen is empty and spotless. I creep down a hallway past the empty bedroom, then the empty bathroom. I open the door to the first bedroom. Crayons everywhere. There are thousands of boxes with varying sizes and shapes. The click-clack of a gun makes me freeze. Hard metal presses into my left side. Percy says, "Drop the gun, detective." I can't give up. He'll kill me if I don't try something. I try to spin to the left, using my elbow to nudge the gun out of my side. An explosion erupts in my side. My spin turns into a fall. My gun goes off somewhere in the distance. I look over at my empty hand. Percy leans over me and pulls out my cell phone. He looks through it for a while before he speaks. Is this your daughter? He turns the phone around, showing a recent picture of her. She's cute with purple hair. Do you know how hard it is to find that color? I try to claw at him, but I'm not able to lift my hand high enough. I think I may have Andy scout her out for me. Goodbye, detective. I try to scream at him, but only a weak moan comes out. He aims the gun at my forehead. And that was the last time I saw them, or anyone. The end. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. And if you are interested in reading any more of my writing, I have several more stories like this one. They aren't edited or preened or cut or really fixed to where they would be ready for publication yet, but they are available on Wattpad. I have links to that on my website as well. It's www.brian, B-R-I-A-N Basham, BASHAM.com. And so that's the end of the test run. I hope you enjoyed it, and good night to you.